Almost every adult in my life has given me some version of the same advice. Focus on your degree first, build something later. You are too young, you don't know enough yet. Get experience first. The time for this is after college. And I want to respectfully completely disagree. Because I have spent the last few weeks going through the actual origin stories of every major Indian personal brand creator. Raj Shamani, Ankur Warikoo, Ishan Sharma. And I found something that every single one of them has in common. They didn't start when they were ready, they started when they were exactly where I am right now. I'm Hetansh and I have made zero from anything and I'm building right now. I have 28 subscribers on this channel and I have been posting on and off for a few months without any real consistency or direction. But here's what I realized this week when I actually sat down and studied the creators I want to become. Being 18 with no money, no network, no experience, and no safety net is not the obstacle to building a personal brand. It is a personal brand. Let me show you exactly what I mean. I went through the origin stories of 10 of India's biggest personal brand creators this week. Not the polished how I made it version they tell now. The actual early footage, the early posts, the interviews where they talked about month one. Here's what I found. Raj Shamani started public speaking at age 16. Not a big stage, at local events in Surat for free for rooms of 20 people. He was younger than most of the audience and he used that as content. What does a 16-year-old know about business? Became the hook that people got curious. Ankur Warikoo was a PhD dropout who became a startup founder who got fired from his own company. He didn't start making content when he was successful. He started making content when he was confused, rebuilding, figuring out. His most watched early videos are about failure, not achievement. And Ishan Sharma, who blew up at age 21, built his entire brand around one specific insight that being young in a world full of experienced people gives you one massive advantage that no one talks about. You have nothing to lose. Here's the thing about being 18 that took me a while to see clearly. When Raj Shamani posts something, he has 91 CR in reputation at stake. When Ankur Warikoo posts something, 4 million people are watching to see if it's consistent with what he said last week. When any creator gets to a certain size, the pressure to maintain the brand actually limits how honest they can be. I have 28 subscribers, zero reputation at stake. I can say anything that's true and what I feel. And here's the second advantage, compound time. Raj Shamani started at 16, he's now in his 30s. The brand is almost 15 years in the making. If I start at 18, stay consistent for the same duration, I will have a 15-year-old brand by the time I'm 33. Most people don't start until their 30s. By the time they are 45, the brand is serious, they are exhausted. Starting now means the compound curve starts now. The third advantage, and this is one nobody in my life talks about, is relatability at scale. The biggest underserved audience in India's creator economy right now is not CEOs, it's not investors, it's the 18-year-old in a tier 1, 2 or tier 3 city who has real ambition and zero roadmap. There are 600 million internet users in India. The majority of them are under 30. And the majority of content being made for them is either too corporate, too polished, or too far ahead of where they actually are. I'm not too early, I'm precisely on time. But here's the trap, and I have fallen into it myself. Young creators try to sound older than they are. They use language that doesn't fit them. They post advice they haven't lived yet. They build a personal brand that doesn't match their actual personality because they think they need to look professional or established before anyone will listen. Raj Shamani didn't do this. He spoke at 16 the same way he speaks at 30. Direct personal from exactly where he was standing. Ishan Sharma didn't pretend to have a decade of experience. He said, I'm 21, here's what I figured it out in the last 6 months. And that specificity, that honesty about the time frame was exactly why people trusted him. My mistake for the last few months was trying to make content that looked like I knew more than I did. How to add notice on it. The best way to build a brand, advice I wasn't qualified to give from experience I had not earned. The moment I switched to documenting where exactly I am, that's when the content started to work. Not because the quality improved, because the honesty level did. So So here's what changes in how I think about this channel based on everything I just showed. 1. Every video from here opens with the reality of being 18 doing this, not as an excuse, as a context that makes everything else make sense and feel real. Second, instead of here's how to build a brand, I studied how Raj Shamani built his brand, and here's what I found. I document my research publicly. The insight isn't the content. The study is the proof that I'm doing the work. Third, 2 degrees simultaneously is the content. Exam week with no time to film, content, zero budget content. Yeah. Raj Shamani didn't wait for the constants to disappear. He made the constants the story. That's what I'm doing today. If you are 18 or 19 or 22, or honestly any age, where someone has told you that you're too young or too inexperienced or too early, I want you to hear this clearly. The creators you're watching right now who have millions of subscribers and crores in revenue, you're exactly where you are, not metamorphically, literally. Phone camera, small room, zero audience, talking to nobody, figuring it out. The only difference between them and the people who quit is they kept making the next video. I'm making the next video every Tuesday. Come, watch what happens. Bye.